Today I'm going to show you something fun and easy to make, which is scrunchies. So first I'm starting off with my fabric, which has been folded twice, so I have 4 layers of fabric, and this just makes it easier when I come to cut it. Next I'm measuring across the top, which is 8 inches by 6 inches, so I'm going to cut along the line for 6 inches once I get down to 6 inches, and then I'm going to cut along that point. And I'm using embroidered organza to make my scrunchies today, but you can use any fabric you like. Yeah, it's totally up to you. So the next step, once you've cut out your strip, is to unfold it and then just take your iron and iron it out nice and flat. Next, what you're going to do is you're going to take the edge and you're just going to fold a wee hemline at both sides of your fabric. So you're going to fold it once, maybe about half a centimetre to a centimetre. Then you're just going to iron that down once you get it laying nice and flat, which you can see that I'm having a wee bit of trouble with that today. You might want to use a little bit of steam as well, just to make sure that it stays in place once you've ironed it. And then I'm just going to fold it over once more so that raw edge is concealed inside the scrunchie. This matters more because I'm using organza, but if you're using a fabric that's not sheer, then it's not too important, but I still would recommend it. And here I'm just repeating the same thing but on the other side, so yeah, not that interesting. So we're moving on to the next step. The next step is to sew your wrong sides together and your right sides facing out, So we're going to be creating a French seam just now. So for the people that don't know what a French seam is, pretty much it's a seam where your raw edge is totally concealed. So if you don't have an overlocker, then this is an option for you to make sure you don't have any fraying on your scrunchie. So what you're going to do is you're just going to sew right along the edge with your wrong sides to get facing together and your right sides facing up. Then once you've done that, what we're going to do after is flip it inside out once I'm finished sewing. Yep, I finished sewing there. So the next step of your French seam is to trim as close as you can to that seam line, which I have skipped showing you for some reason. And then you're going to fold it over and you're going to take it back to your machine, and so it's facing wrong sides and your wrong sides facing up and right sides together, and you're going to push your fabric as close to the edge of that seam as possible, your original seam, and you're going to sew right along that seam so it's all concealed inside your French seam and looks nice and neat. So yep, there's me just sewing away. Oh, this is also a tip: if you're a beginner you might want to use pins. Sometimes I decide to use pins, sometimes I don't, but because my fabric's a little bit slippery that I'm working with today, I've decided I'm going to use some pins to sew it. Okay, there's me just showing you it all turned inside out and the seam looking nice and neat. Okay, so if you have an overlocker, then this is another option. Rather than you using a French seam, you could just overlock your edge. It's so much faster. I think it looks just as nice in the final product. I don't think you can really even see it that much, and it's totally up to you. You could even use rainbow threads, so it's like a feature of your scrunchie, and so you can see the stitching if you like that, if you're using organza. But yeah, there's me just showing you a finished scrunchie using the overlocker rather than sewing. Okay, so now we're gonna just move on to us putting elastic through our scrunchie. I decided to cut my elastic at 6 inches, and then I just took it over to the sewing machine, sewed it with a zigzag stitch. Yeah, and there was me just showing you and you barely even seen it. But yep, I just used a zigzag stitch. Yep, and that'll keep it nice and secure and stop it from coming apart when you're wearing it. Some people even like to just tie a knot. The only problem with that is you can kind of feel the knot in the elastic in your scrunchie, which is not ideal. If you do decide to do that, it is a bit quicker, but I would recommend having your elastic at 7 inches rather than 6. So there's me just snipping my threads. And then the next step is to sew your 2 hemmed lines together. And that, once that is done, that is you completed your scrunchie. Well done. If you followed along with this video, you have now completed your very own handmade scrunchie. And yeah, that's pretty much everything. Thanks for watching.